Do it again, Jake. Jake, come out here and show them what you got here. Dude, exactly. Nailed it. I'm Rich.
I'm Frank.
And it's People Pints Possibilities.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 1. Frankie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm ready for this.
We are at California Coast Beer Company here in Paso Robles, California. My name is Rich. I'm the Vibe Titan. We fight against traditional labels, I guess, for people. And I'm the CEO, but really I'm the Vibe Titan. And I got my boy here, Frank.
Yeah, my name is Frank. Here at beautiful Paso Robles, California Coast Beer Company. Love that place. And I dabble in the back and make beer and fix toilets and make...
Did you just say you dabble in the back?
Yeah, I sure do.
I didn't. Out of all the 5 years, we've been around for 5.
I'm using dabble.
6 years, almost 6 years he's been dabbling. I did not know that's what was going on in the brew house.
Don't tell the investors.
Didn't know. This already started off like way better than I could have thought.
It's the truth.
All the notes that I wrote up did not have Frankie dabbles in the back. All right. Welcome to our podcast. First of all, let's do a brief intro. Why are we putting on a podcast? We have this beautiful California Coast Beer Company community here in Paso Robles, and it is an organism that continues to grow. It is a group of people that it's much bigger than we ever imagined. And so as it grows and just gets bigger and bigger, we realized the relationships we made, the people we've met, people are interested in that stuff.
Yeah, and let's just be honest, this town saved our ass.
It sure did.
We did a little thing called COVID, which we'll talk about later, but this community came together.
Absolutely. And so the people of Paso, we always say, you don't choose Paso Robles. The people, small town USA, I guess. This isn't just a local podcast. We're going to do some really big stuff and talk about how we build things, and we'll get into that. But the bigger thing is these small towns, they choose you don't choose them. And so they decide whether they want you to be successful through their, not only just their patronage, because people aren't money, but them supporting you in every way possible.
I couldn't agree more.
And
they can go anywhere and spend their money, and they choose to come here.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate the support.
And for that, you get tucked into a trail ride. So stay tuned, because apparently I'm going on a trail ride. And then, like our good buddy Jeff, you got to yell, trail ride, everywhere you go, trail ride.
Got a cat.
Today, we're going to focus on just our overall theme for the brewery. We have a brewery here in Paso. Later on down the road, we'll talk about the history and some of those things. But just so you know, there's 3 different buildings. We do a multitude of things. We have a restaurant. We not only make the beer here, and Frank, does all of that, but we put on some amazing shows and have some unbelievable community events. And so, little background on that, our focus for today is our purpose, which we did not come up with originally. A lot of people would call that a mission or a vision statement, but we kind of organically came to that through the people that come here and really primarily the people that work with us, our team. So that is bring them together and leave them better. We bring people together and we work very, very hard to leave them better. Frank, what does that mean to you?
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Dude, I did
I'm
so
just kidding.
good.
Bring them together, leave them better. Once again, it's just something that grows organically as long as you're kind and you take care of people. And they're going to in turn do the same thing for us. And they have tenfold. And I'm just going to point out, I'm so grateful for this community. So the brewery is a pub. And as a pub, Rich had a hard time with this at first.
Pub. I hate it. I hated that name.
Frank, don't call it that. It's a microbrewery. It's a pub. And I think Rich finally looked it up.
It sounded antiquated. I did. I looked it up, and he was like, the pub. I'm like, it's a tap house. It's a brew house. It's like hip. We're updated. And Frank kept giving me a hard time, and I looked it up, and I realized what he was saying, which was the history there was, whether it was a tavern, or the idea of a pub is a public space. It's where people
100%.
gather, right?
And they come together, and it's kind of, I don't want to do the cheers cliche, but everyone knows
Clich-
their
the
name.
cliche
The
is a little
cliche, that's
different.
French. But a quick story, and I'll throw it out there. Just yesterday, I was having a beer, and a young lady named Claire and her husband Bob were sitting there, and she came and gave me a big hug, and they had a water leak, and she's all, you know what, Frank? I came in here, and Jack offered to fix all of this, and I was calling plumbers, and I couldn't afford it, and I just want to thank you for this place because there are so many resources here and friends here that you guys don't have an idea what you're creating.
And that's the term, the Calcos community. It's a group
100%.
of people. Bring them together, leave them better. The beer brings them in, but the people keep them coming back, as Frank says. And that's our people core value, which we'll get to. But our why is to bring people together. We built this place, all of us. That includes every single one who came. And Martha's with us all the time, and she's behind the scenes. And Christine, your wife, who we'll talk about the story. We got to quit our jobs and go for it. Pretty crazy story there. But that's not where it ends. Like, it continued to grow. Bringing people together is the team that has come in here and brought their own personalities and their own ideas and really bring them together and then leave them better. It guides the way that we treat each other.
Yeah. And in this time, like, if you can have a gift like we have where you can bring people together, it's truly a blessing.
And if you're out there listening, you're a small business owner, the first trick is you have to define your why. Whether it's Simon Sinek, I'm into all that stuff. But why are we all here? Why did we take all this risk? Why do people work with you and they could work anywhere? Why are we all coming together? And that's just it seems so simple, but it's really complex in the thought of, like, you have to sit down and flesh it out.
Yeah, 100%. You got to grow your team. You got to have them become part of your family and believe in your beliefs. It's real easy to run a business. You can do it two ways. You can just be an asshole and fire people and let them come in, rinse, repeat, or you can actually spend some time and understand people and focus on them and find their strengths and grow them for your business. One's you're going to get a quick reward. The other one is a long-term goal, and it'll pay off in the end.
Dude, Frank over here spitting facts. I thought he was just going to tell dirty jokes the whole time.
They're
This
coming.
dude's dropping knowledge right now, so you can go to college. Did you go to college? I think he did, but it was to be something. What did you want to? I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. Me, be. Okay.
Oh.
So back to People Pints and Possibilities. That's the second phase. So bring them together, leave them better. That's a focus, and we're focusing on that today, and that's going to lead down the road to People Pints Possibilities. And you've got to have a set of core values in your organization. If you don't have, you got to start with a why, and you got to have some core values, and that is, a look at who you are or the people that you have within your organization, how you do things, and then how you're going to treat each other. And so People Pints Possibilities we'll be talking about down the road. And really, just if you want to throw those into troughs, those are the things that we get excited about. That's building teams. That's what Frank does. He's in the back there. He's dabbles in the back.
Dabbler.
And he's back there making things with his hands. So people who make things, people who craft things from scratch, whether they're artists, musicians, or they make beer. And then the last part is that possibilities, which is your mindset. That is the belief that you really can do something, that you are capable and you're going to figure it out and not accept no for an answer. So,
Yeah, I mean, People Pints Possibilities, it's been an amazing roadmap for us. And if you're listening and you're not into beer, you're not into the craft scene, replace pints with whatever you're into on how to run a business. Maybe it's People Car Washes and Possibilities. Maybe it's People Laundromat. But we have made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we just want to kind of share some things so you don't have to make the mistakes.
absolutely. And you can look forward to talking to some musicians, talking to some business owners, talking to some really cool people who make stuff, talking to some. We don't need any motivators around here. I think I got that thing.
Yeah, no, or energy.
Dude, I got the juice back. The juice has returned. We're ready to go. But we're really fired up, and we're going to have our guests. We're going to have some people who actually helped us start this business. You'll see our team. We call them team. We don't call them employees. That's kind of like old weak sauce term, like we said, we don't worry about that stuff. We're a team. We're a freaking team. Bring people together, leave them better. And back to that is we're teachers. Even though we were in education and we started there, we are teachers because we need to leave people better. We're going to bring them together and we're going to leave them better. And why I love that is that begs the question of how am I leaving you better? It leaves me open to every one of our team members should be asking, how are you making me better? And that puts pressure on us in a good way.
As absolutely it does. They're going to tell you if you own the business, no one's going to care about it as much as you do. I'm going to call bullshit on that because if you can bring that team, family members together and have them believe, not drink the Kool-Aid, but really, I understand what you're doing. I do want to be a part of this. You're going to watch your business explode.
Absolutely. That's the even better part, which is they can only be at their best if they have a clear idea of what they're signing up for. And then on top of it, they get the freedom to add their own spin to it. They get to take things and run with it. Once we know that we're all moving in the same direction and talking with that common language, like now they can run with it. And so their ability to add their own spice of life, their own flavor, like has grown us potentially in all these different areas. Well, Ed was in here doing Loteria on Wednesday. If you missed Loteria with Ed, that is one of our Calcos community members saying, hey, I want to help you guys out, and coming in and just slaying the den.
Killed it, crushed it.
Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. That's for Brian, who all he does is post fire emojis.
Oh, yeah. But there's love behind those fire emojis.
Fire emoji. There's a whole lot. Dude, it's a heart fire emoji. I like it. But that's the Calcos community coming in and doing that. Jake is helping us. He's behind the microphones, and Jake has come in, and Jake took a risk. You're going to hear from Jake. Jake, we said you throw out a crazy idea like, hey, man, should we do one of these podcasts? And then Jake came back to me a week later and was like, I'm in to make it happen. So here we are. So we're definitely going to hear from Jake. Jake might start his own podcast.
I hope he does. He does have a totally disappointed look on his face with us right now. How we doing, buddy?
Dude, we need a mic for Jake. All right, we're going to add,
Jake's feeling not too hot right now.
The outcome for this is hopefully somebody finds it interesting, finds some good points that they can put into their own business, and then hopefully there's some interaction with people,
Yeah, I think, we earn this community's support, and that was just through tons of hard work and being kind and appreciating people. And I think the goal is the same thing here. We're going to earn your support, and we're going to have all sorts of people on. You guys will be able to talk to us. We'll be able to answer questions. And Rich is kind of a magician with, not sound boring, but he does great. Sorry, dude, with like the HR, team building a culture. And if you are thinking about building or creating a business, building a business, if you already have a business, you want to take to the next level, we're going to really break it down. And how do you do a proper meeting? I know that sounds boring, but we'll make it fun. How do you hold people accountable? How do you evaluate people? And once you start seeing that process, it's actually pretty simple because there's no questions in the success of your business. I nosedived at the end, but that's okay. I thought you were going to jump in and help me.
Dude, you took on my role. I just thought you were going to tell dirty jokes this whole time, and now you're just spitting facts like you stunned me. Like if we were in a boxing match, you just went jab, jab, left, right, cross, left hook, and you left me stumbling right
Rich,
here.
You got to keep him guessing, my friend.
Dude, this guy is over here. That's what he does, though. If you want to, here's one fun fact. All right, we're gonna throw out fun facts and just talk a little, or talk a little shit. Are we gonna cuss on this or no? I don't know.
I think
just
too late
messed
for
it
that,
up,
my
beep,
friend. Yeah, we're
beep.
there.
You have to go beep. Frank does that. There's a skill that Frank has. It's pretend like you're not paying attention, pretend like you don't know what's going on, so no one will ever ask you while you actually know everything that's going on and are fully prepared. You just pretend like you're not. So if you're in that group, you also dabble in the back. So I think that's the theme. No, I love what you said. Bring them together, leave them better. It just begs that, it keeps coming back to that. Like, you have to have that, not to beat a dead horse, but you said it. We earned everything we have through not major, massive action, not these huge parties and events, which are great, and we do have those. It's from keeping clean bathrooms, from sweeping the floor, having the open sign out. It's from those minute details that people think are boring. Like you said, it's boring. It is boring to make sure that everything is right, the beer's poured properly, that you say hello and goodbye to everyone. Saying freaking hello and goodbye to everyone.
Yeah. And people...
It's not boring. It's badass.
They do not understand how many times do I hear, you're so lucky you own a brewery. No, luck, zero. No luck involved. Hard work. And that's what got us where we're at.
The formula doesn't change no matter what you're doing. And that's why we're doing this. We've met so many cool business owners, and like the formula does not change. You can be, we'll talk to some people own welding companies, or, whether it's the brushes out there, Gallagher doing concrete. There's people right here in this community that are busting their ass, getting after it, taking care of the details, being upfront with people. So we're going to go through a lot of that stuff. And it comes back to, I think, we just had the luxury of having it spelled out. It comes back to that mission and vision of who you are. And we bring people together and leave them better. And then it goes to your core values: people, pints, possibilities. People, we're going to obsess about people. We're going to obsess over the people who work here, the people who come in here. And that's going to lead us right away to say, how are we making them better? How are we doing these things, And then the pints is your world, We're going to make cool shit.
Cool shit. It's the craft.
What do you love about it?
You know what? It's to sit back there and be able to be creative, break a little sweat, and then when you're done, sit back and watch everybody smile and enjoy your product. Like it's you can't even put into words how rewarding that is.
Yep. And there's people doing that all over the world, and making all sorts of different things and taking something that was just raw material and making it cool. So,
but you have to have the foundation to be able to have the freedom to do that.
Yep. And then it's that final part, that possibilities, which is just your mindset. Your mindset has to believe, I may not be great at this now, but I will be. And I know I will get it done. I know I can find people who will mentor me or help me, and we can go through each one of these for hours, but that formula doesn't go away.
Oh, you build the right team, the possibilities are endless.
Yep. And then you set your actions and behaviors to, set goals and achieve them, and get feedback all the time, and don't take it personal, and you're off to, to a good start there. You're on your way.
Yeah. Set the standard. Standard's a standard. Let's go, guys and gals, and let's have fun. And what does Maddie say? Let's have fun and get shit done.
Have fun, get shit done, dude. With that, I think this is episode number 1. I think we just put it in the books. We kind of gave you an outline of what we're going to be talking about, who we're going to be talking to, and hopefully you find some value in it.
Yeah, and I think next time we'll maybe dive in a little deeper on how we started, and then maybe focus on, what do you think there, Rich?
We're going to start with focusing on building teams. After that, building teams.
Love
but
it.
next episode 2, will be about how we quit our jobs, fancy jobs that everybody said, oh, you got to keep those. You're only 5 years, 10 years, 8 years away from retirement. If you just sit back and you just be miserable.
Yeah.
Sneak preview. If you just hug that desk, dude, you just get that 30 years. You'll get a golden pen.
Yeah, or a nice watch.
Dude, no, you don't get no watch, dude. You get a little freaking plaque on your desk that says 30 years. If you just hang in there, you're so close. But instead, we said, nah, we're not doing that.
Hell no, sky's the limit. Let's roll.
All right, so that's coming up. Once again, this is I'm Rich.
I'm Frank. Excited to get to know you.
This is the People Pints Possibilities podcast, and People Pints and Possibilities, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Shut that shit off.